My name is Abisai, and your name is?
Stacy.
Stacy. Such a pleasure. So how long have you been in San Antonio?
I've been in San Antonio for about 4 to 5 months, I think.
Okay.
I think.
And what drove you to San Antonio?
Um,
Because you're not from San Antonio.
I'm not.
And you're from?
I am from California.
LA, right?
Yeah. Well, the suburbs of LA. So it's
Okay.
not the cool LA, not the glamorous LA, but yeah.
Close to where they shoot On My Block? Or no?
That's not really the suburbs of LA. It sounds really fucked up to say, but it's the hood of LA. I think, did they shoot On My Block in LA?
No, I'm just assuming. I mean, because it takes place in LA,
It's supposed
right?
to, yeah. I think they're supposed to live in Compton or something close to that. But even then, I'm they're reaching.
Because you see, there's so much stuff about LA, whenever it comes to geological. I don't know how to say the term.
Yeah. I know.
There's so many.
What are the geos?
Something about geo, right?
Yeah.
It just sounds like there's so many parts. Here, in San Antonio, I could show you north side, west side, east side. But in LA, there's what is it, Compton, and then there's
There's it's LA County.
Okay.
So it's just it's Hollywood and actual LA City, which is what people think when you say LA. And I think they just mix Hollywood and wherever the Kardashians live in, even though the Kardashians don't live in LA County. I think they just live in the valley. Okay. But it's just stuff like that. And then people even assume Disneyland and stuff like that, but Disneyland's in Orange County, and then it's just it's a mess.
Everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So what drove you to San Antonio?
Well, I had the opportunity to come to San Antonio, and I don't know, I've mentioned to you before, I don't know, I have ants in my pants, so I just feel I can't stay in one place for too long, or I just feel way too apathetic, or I'm just not, I'm just I don't know, there's more, I see I don't know, you ever see those videos and it's just I don't know how to explain it, but I had the opportunity to come, and I was the last place people think to move is Texas, really, but I'm why? I don't know. It's just growing up in the suburban city that I did in California, I'm just this is not where I'm supposed to end up. So anytime I get the chance to move, I move, which I'm sure you feel the same, growing up in San Antonio, you're why would you come here?
Of course.
Yeah. It's been cool though.
So I remember you mentioning about your family.
Yeah.
How it's kind of what was the term you used? Leaving home, Oh,
I said it was sacrilegious.
There you go.
Yeah.
How did your parents take it the first time you moved? Because San Antonio isn't the first place you moved to.
Yeah, no.
So how old were you when you first left your house?
The first time I moved, I was I think I was 21, going on to 22.
Okay.
And then my cousin lives in Las Vegas. He's in the Air Force and all that, so he's stationed out there. And I was that's it, I can't be here anymore. And then he was oh, well, just come out here. And I feel I always get those opportunities. I'll complain, I'm I can't be here anymore, and people are well, then come over here. And I'm fuck it, I'm on my way, And yeah, what did you ask me again? Oh, the first time I left, I don't think it was that big of a deal, because even then Las Vegas is 4 hours away from home. Or okay. I don't think I've ever moved that far for too long. And then in this instance, I was just yeah, I'm leaving, and I feel no, it was just very sudden, and I was okay, I'm gonna leave for a year, and I'm going to Texas. And then everyone's okay, but if we want to visit you, we can't. And I'm just that's the point. And so everyone was really sad. My two sisters were really sad, crying all the time. And then my mom was she was oddly supportive, but still crying and just it's gonna be okay, it's just a year kind of thing. But it just I don't know, it was weird. I'm just you guys are all either way too codependent, or I don't know what's going on. It's gonna be fine, But no, yeah, it was a betrayal of sorts, It was weird. It was like a weird thing to go through, and I was just like, okay, I'm leaving. And I remember I left like really early. I left like, I think like 3, 4 in the morning.
Oh, that's super early.
Yeah,
okay.
so like they'd be all drowsy and just like, okay, like safe travels. Because I feel like if I would have left like at a decent hour, it would have been like a whole like
mess
ordeal. Yeah.
Oh, so you left on purpose with no intentions. You didn't have like a deadline to be like in San Antonio at a
No.
You just left with that intention
Yeah.
to catch them off guard type of thing.
Yeah.
So you just packed up your belongings?
I mean, they knew I was going to leave just because I had been mentioning it. And it was just like, oh, haha, you know,
they
you're
didn't
going to
believe you.
They're going to leave. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, it's like, it became a joke, you know, like, oh, you're going to become like a real yeehaw. And they were just like, oh, like, I hear like as soon as you get into Texas, like they give you a horse and a gun, you know? And I'm just like, all right, real funny, you know? And then, they just like kept making jokes and they were like, oh yeah, like aren't you leaving next week or whatever, like, you know, just like clowning on me. And then it like hit the month that I was gonna leave and I was like, oh yeah, I'm leaving like next week. And they were like, for real? And I was like, yeah, I've been talking about this for months. And then I left, and then I think it still was a little like, wait, you really left, huh? And not even them, like I think like some of my close friends too were like, you just left me. And I'm like, what? You know, that was difficult, but it's okay now, I think. Yeah.
Have you always been good like being on your own, or was it something you had to get used to or like learn how to accept?
It's like I'm sort of like a double-edged sword in that sense, because like I'm really like I can be like really codependent in some senses. Like I'm like, no, I don't want to go to Target alone, like someone has to come with me.
Interesting.
And then like in other senses, like I can move to a whole state and not like give a shit, you know? And it's just, I guess I have always kind of been on my own. Sounds really like like not dark, but it just sounds really like, oh, woe is me, you know? It's just like sort of how it was, because my sisters were like closer in age.
Okay.
My older sisters were closer in age, and then we didn't really have any actual family close to us. So I was just like the little kid that was like, don't like mess with us. So like I was just always like on my own, you know?
Gotcha. How many siblings do you have?
2 sisters.
And how far in age are they?
My oldest sister, I think she's like 32 now.
Okay.
And then the middle one, I think she's like 30. So they're like really close in age. Honestly, I don't know. That's really bad of me to not know. But I know they're like, no, I think they're 3 years apart. So my middle sister might be like 29.
Gotcha.
Oldest sister might be like 32.
So at least a good 6 years in age, right, of difference. So now I understand why it was a little bit hard for you.
Yeah. So they were like always doing stuff, and then it was just like, Stacy's here. I'd be like, no, I want to play too. She's like, no, you cheat. Like just like little sibling stuff, you know? Yeah. So it was like tough, like being a little kid growing up with like preteens and stuff. But I guess that's where like some of my independence comes from.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you first landed here in San Antonio, were you like, because you said you never left nowhere where like it was like super far, right?
Yeah.
So when you finally moved, what is it, like a 4-hour drive?
Yeah, it was I drove literally 2 days. I drove all day until I got to El Paso, and then I stayed in El Paso. And then I still had to drive like 9 hours just to get to San Antonio. I was like, fuck, how big is Texas? That's crazy. But yeah.
Did you already have a place, an apartment, or something to come?
Yeah.
Okay, so you did this. How did you do this? Like,
what do you mean?
Like, how were you able to come? How did you do it? Like, when you came to San Antonio, like, you already had something waiting for you. Did you come, like, like, before? Like, to sign leases? Or, like, how did you...
It's actually really crazy because, like, I don't know, it all just happened, like, really suddenly. And it was just, like, that opportunity I had because my friend was moving out here for a job. And I was just like, all right, like, I guess I'm coming too. They were like, no, for real, you know? And I guess, like, I was like, yeah, why not? That's why I said, like, I had the opportunity. I was like, I'll take it.
Okay, so you already had people you knew
that
were gonna move here, so that's where you stayed at.
Yeah, and before even like moving here, like I knew people off like Instagram and stuff, just like, oh, and then it became like, oh, I'm actually out here now, and it was like, oh, like let's meet up and stuff.
Okay.
It's crazy, huh? How like social media does that. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so that's what I was curious about. Just like,
Oh, like how I say like, oh, my friends this, and they're like, what?
yeah, no. The fact that you left San Antonio and you already had a place to stay. Like I mentioned, when I went to LA, I didn't like
Yeah, I feel like
pre-planned.
it's tougher to get a place in LA though, just because it's just like you have to like give half your kidney away and like
True.
sign your soul away just to like live there for a year. But I literally, me and my friend like looked around on, what is it, Zillow, and then we found the apartments we live at now. And I think it was like the first place we reached out to, or the first place that got back to us, just because like everyone was like boom boom boom, you know, just like hitting us up. And we thought it was going to be really hard to find a place, especially like if we weren't going to come out here to like sign anything. And they were just like, oh no, yeah, if you guys want a tour, like we could do it through FaceTime, now we can send you pictures.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like really like quick and fast, and we were sort of scared. We were like, should we be like afraid, like are we getting scammed? This is weird. Now we got here, it was fine.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so you did the road trip on your own.
Yeah,
Were you scared? Any bad accidents or anything like that?
there were no bad accidents. I had driven up to like Colorado, yeah, like Denver before, so I was
Okay.
like, okay, I'm used to like the long drives, or I've just like done long drives before, and I was like, fine. I honestly didn't get scary until I got into like, no, even like when I was like passing like, you know, the Mexican border and stuff, it was like all just like desert. It was real like Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes. And I was like, oh wow, okay, I'm gonna die. But no, yeah, I've been through like instances like that before, and I was like, I'm okay, just listening to music. You guys have some crazy like like turns coming up here. That was scary. It was like Mario Kart roads, you know?
Okay.
So it was scary for like the most part, like once I got into Texas, and then I would hit those like really like rural like towns to get gas, and it was like all really like you know, predominantly white people, and I was just like, oh no, oh no. You know, I was like, I'm gonna die, like I'm just gonna be another statistic or something, you know. It was scary. Yeah.
So now do you like San Antonio so far, or it's?
I like San Antonio. I really do. I like Texas. It's honestly like really pretty, and has like some of the nicest people I've ever met. And yeah, it was definitely a culture shock though, like for sure.
In what way?
Just like, I guess coming from California, like we, like it's little things like, you know, the whole like liquor stores are closed on Sundays. You're
Where?
like, here.
Really?
It's
Are
a
they?
thing. Yeah, and like you can't buy like liquor like at a Target or anything, which is like something you can do in California. Or, you know, straws. Like, you know, like you ask for a straw at a coffee shop, you're gonna get fucking crucified. But like, you don't do it here, and it's just like, how are you gonna drink your coffee, you know?
Yeah.
Or like the bag thing, like back home, like bags, like you have, like if you want like a plastic bag, you have to pay for it, or like bring your own bags, you know.
Okay.
And then out here, they're just like, here, have all of them. And I'm just like, are you sure? Or just, yeah, just things like that. Or you guys have drive-throughs for like everything, which is really interesting. Like I've never seen a Little Caesars with the drive-through.
Really?
Yeah,
No
or
way.
like a Panda Express with the drive-through. I think I even saw like a margarita spot,
Mhm.
and it was drive-through.
Just to go, yeah, to
Yeah,
get
I'm
your
like, wait, you
drinks.
just gonna take your margarita to go? Like what? It's, yeah, it was interesting. I was like, what? You guys also like will park on the same side of like the street, which I thought was interesting.
What do you mean, like
Like-
just like that?
Like this, but like say like this car, you know how they're supposed to go this way, like you guys will do that on the same like
Okay,
side.
yeah,
And
no
I'm like,
fucks.
what? That's a thing? Is that allowed? You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's really interesting.
So going back to why you moved here,
Okay.
w- you have been working with autistic kids for about 5 years,
Yeah.
and how do you like that? And how has that like changed the way you look at life and stuff like that? Like,
I think, I like it. I've been told I'm good at my job or whatever. I don't know. I've never like, I mean, I do have those days where I like get home and I'm like, man, fuck them kids, you know? But for the most part, I mean, never like just lay there and just like hate my life or wonder why I'm doing this to myself or just anything like that. I'm just like, all right. Or it's even like one of those weird things where like I could be having like the shittiest of like times, you know, just like mentally, and then I go to work and I just feel better.
Okay.
So I really like my job and I like what I do. What was the other part of your question?
What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I am a behaviorist. I do
Okay.
ABA. So I just like work with children on the spectrum and just like work on like their behavior and like social stuff and like motor skills. It's just like I guess everyday skills, like motor skills, social skills, language, just like all that kind of stuff. So that's what I do.
So did you go to school for this?
I partially went to school.
And what do you mean by partially?
I was like I think I like will do school enough to just like be able to do what I'm doing.
Okay.
And then I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like over school, especially like community college. Like, it's so like mind numbing. I don't know.
Did you get burned out? Or you just don't like school in general?
I like school. I love learning. I love learning. I guess I love school. It's just like sometimes I feel like I'm just too
Smart?
no, it's not that I'm too smart. Not really. No, just kidding. It's more like, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like, you know, they talk you up in like high school or whatever. Like, oh yeah, college is going to be this like crazy thing. When in reality, like it's literally just like high school, but with more homework, you know? And it's just like I don't know. And you get those instances where you have like really cool like classes and professors and stuff, but for the most part, like some professors don't give a shit, you know? And it's just like, I don't know, it's just stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know. And then like a lot of like the like assignments you'll get and stuff are just so like, what? I don't know. It just like, when it gets to be too like boring, I guess for me, I'm like, I literally don't have to do this. I can be doing anything else.
Gotcha. Do you get bored easily? You get bored because it's not challenging, right? It's
yeah, I think that.
Okay.
And it's not like, yeah. Either that or I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like it's just not realistic, you know? Like you're putting like this like heavy load on these like, you know, 20 somethings, whatever, like kids, and it's just supposed to be like, all right, you're supposed to like, you know, some people don't have the privilege of like just doing school, so it's like, all right, like I have to go to school and I have to work, and somehow like I'm still supposed to sleep and not like lose my fucking mind. And it's just like these unrealistic like things, and it's like, for what? I know so many people that like have their degrees and stuff, like, you know, my middle sister, for instance, she's like one of the smartest people I know, and she went to school, she did the whole thing, you know, and she just works at Honda.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you have your psychology degree, like go do something with it, but like, you know, Honda's where the money's at. And I'm just, and she's like how you said, she's like always complaining, she's like, I hate it here. And I'm like, then go like do what you want to do. I'm like, go become a therapist, I don't know, go save the world or something, like do something with your, why'd you go to school? Like, and I feel like she, like, all she ever did was school, so I feel like she was just so focused on school that now she's like, that she's actually done with school and out of school, she's like, well, what do I do now?
She doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, and she's just like, well, what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know, take more classes if you want. Like, it's not, that's
True.
what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, I don't know, it's weird.
What would you do different? What would be something that could be done different in your situation that you would be like, okay, I'm willing to go to school a little bit more because I know I'm gonna get this in return? Or like, what would encourage you to really like?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I only go to school for as long as like I need to. So
Okay.
if like I want to like move up in my job or like do something different, it's like, okay, you need this many credits, or you need to have this certificate or this and that. And I'm like, all right, like let me go get that done just because I want to like move up. But right now I just feel like really like not stagnant, but I feel like I'm not gonna go to school for something that I'm just like, because I don't know if I want to stay in this like I want to do something like in that field, but I don't think I want to do ABA for the rest of my life.
Okay. What would you want to do for the rest of your life? If you could picture it in a perfect world, perfect scenario, what would make you happy and be like, okay, finally made it, you know, like this is what I see myself doing for the rest of my life?
Okay, so the thing with ABA is that it's like really controversial because most like, you know, kids that are on the spectrum that are like on the higher end, like are more functioning, like they hate fucking ABA. Like they grow up and they will be like, ABA is literally abuse. And it's just because like most often than not, it kind of is. Like depending on the company you go to work with and who you have working in that company, like most of the time people don't know what the fuck they're doing for the first part. And then like for the second part, it's just sort of like a lot of companies, like instead of like trying to like improve like the lives of these kids, they're trying to like fix their autism in a way, you know? So it's just like these like quirky like attributes or whatever that they have, they're just like, no, that's not normal, we need to fix that. And for a lot of kids, like that can be traumatizing, you know? Like even for myself, like I do a lot of weird shit, and if I had to go through like a process where like they were like, you know what, you're not allowed to do that because you're just not normal if you do it, and you're just never gonna like thrive in life, like that would fucking traumatize me.
Okay.
So I feel like that's particularly the reason I don't want to stay in ABA, because so far I've gotten really lucky and I've like found really good companies where like they embrace autism instead of like trying to fix it.
Gotcha. Or
something like that. And then at least for myself, I know that like I have my boundaries, and when I feel like, you know, like this kid's like, okay, I don't need to be teaching them to be normal, then I'm not gonna do that. So at least there's that. So I feel like for me, like an end goal would be doing something that actually helps the community.
Okay.
So like how I was mentioning to you earlier, that like opening up like a hair salon where like, you know, like, because like being in the field for this long, I know so many people that work in this, and like they're all like pretty creative, you know, like I have guy friends that like easily can be barbers, or like,
okay,
you know, like girlfriends that can like easily like do nails or something, and they're just like, they've been in the field for so long too that they like have that clinical judgment, and then they have like the patience and like the understanding to be able to work with this kind of population. And so I just kind of want to do something like in that sense.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Just something that actually helps the community, and I don't feel like you know, like weird about doing it.
So you said what was it, like hair salon?
Mm-hmm.
Why that?
Because when I was working at that like school that was like a special education school, all the students we had, they were moderate to severe, like low end of the spectrum, like severe, you know, behaviors, like sort of just like the kind of like kids that are like, if they walked into like a hair salon, like the hair salonist, like the stylist would be like kind of freaked out, just like, all right, like I'm trying to cut this kid's hair, but they won't let me, they're gonna like hurt me, what do I do, like I don't want to finish the haircut. And then like obviously like parents are like frustrated, so they just leave. And like I remember like a lot of our students would show up with like just like half done like fades, or like
interesting, okay,
or just like you know, the girls would come in with just like not even brushed hair, and like they'd get in and we'd just be like, all right, like we're not gonna have you looking a hot mess all day. So we'd like, you know, like if I had like a girl student, I'd like, you know, brush her hair, braid it, whatever, get it out of her face, because a lot of times that can like cause behaviors too. Like wouldn't you be mad all day if like you had just like all this hair in your face?
Of course.
Yeah. Or like I don't know, like our male students, like we don't want them looking ridiculous out here. Like they already have enough shit going on, they don't need like a bad haircut. So like we just call home and be like, oh, like is it cool, we fix it. And like the parents are like, they can never sit down for a haircut, but if you can handle it, then do it. And then after that it just become like, oh, like they need a haircut, like if you can do it, like, is that okay? You know, and it's just like such an easy like thing that can be fixed, but it's just like something that like an extra struggle to add on, like on top of like all this shit that's already going on in these people's lives. And it's
Gotcha.
like a haircut is not a thing you should be worried about, you know?
Of course.
So it's just like, there's a spider on me.
Yeah, I saw that crawl.
You didn't say anything.
I saw
You're
when
just
you
gonna
saw
let me
it.
die.
I saw it when you saw it.
Oh my god. That spider said you're talking too much.
Okay, so an easy fix, you said, but it takes a lot of patience. What have you learned whenever it comes to like working with autistic kids? Like what's the best way not to deal with them, because you know what I mean? Because like
Yeah,
what's
it's not
the
like a thing to
yeah,
deal with.
What's the best way you could
Even though, like, in general, you just have to deal with kids because they're just so annoying. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding.
yeah, what's the best way to like interact with them? You know, like how to, like you said, you're not trying to fix the kid.
Yeah.
How can you comprehend them, and how can you like really work with them and like you know, like scoot to their level, you know what I mean, and try to understand where they're going through. Like what are some of the best ways that you've personally learned with your experience to deal with that, and like being able to put yourself in their situation and just be more understanding? Like,
Yeah. It's nothing like crazy, really. It's just sort of like how you'd approach like you know, like a typical like person or a typical child. Like, it's just sort of like, I don't know, you kind of just have to like go in with like patience and understanding, like, you know what I mean? I don't really know how to explain it. I don't know if I have like a way of going about it, but I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think the best thing to just like do is just like not like, when it comes to like the population I work with, is just like, you know, like not be ignorant about it. I don't know. I guess it's just like, if you like gain a little bit more knowledge about it, like the next time you see, like, I feel like the biggest thing when it comes to like the population I work with is like judging people, like, oh, that's bad parenting. You know, like sometimes you see a kid screaming for their like lives in a store and you think like that's bad parenting, like, you know, like they need to be like punished or like get them in line. But most often than not, like that kid will have like autism and they're just like having like, you know, like a tantrum in the store, and it's just like there's nothing to like do but to write it out. And so I think it's just like I just like, I guess like sort of how you were like mentioning earlier, that people have like this preconceived notion of like anyone they see ever, without like ever being like, oh, I wonder what's going on.
yeah.
So I feel like that's like one of the biggest things too. So I think it's just sort of like, I don't know, just like kind of like being more understanding or like empathetic, you know? It's interesting. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm going in loops, trying to like get something out of my head, but I don't know how to say it. I'm like, oh, it's like right here. I just don't know how to explain it.
So you want to stay in this field,
Yeah.
but you want to do something different, like,
Yeah. Just like I was like working at that school. I was a paraprofessional
okay,
for like 3-4 years. And then I've been doing ABA for like 3 years now too. So yeah. I just keep switching. Like for a bit, I also wanted to be like a speech pathologist.
really? Why is that?
Because it's like another thing that you can do like in like the population that I want to work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would a speech pathologist do?
You know, like when you were like in school and like kids would go to speech because they had like a stutter or like a lisp, or like
Okay.
even myself, I think like when I like I was like Spanish was my first language.
Okay.
So I think like I had to go to speech too. Like I don't even remember, but I think so, right?
Okay.
Because like I had to learn English.
Of course.
So you just like teach kids speech. That's it. There's like nothing to it.
How can you teach someone how to roll their R's? For example, I was born in Mexico, but I just can't roll my R's.
Really?
Yeah, like whenever you go.
It just happens. Like, I have a friend that was like born with like a cleft palate, and like because like of their like scar, they can't roll their R's.
Really?
Yeah, and he's always just like, no, like, I'm Mexican, and I'm like, okay, it doesn't devalue you. I'm sorry.
It kind of does. If you can't roll your R's, I mean that's a big deal.
What's the point? Yeah.
Why you speak Spanish?
Yeah, might as well not.
Exactly.
Wait, can I hear you say like something like?
I'll say car because
Okay.
carro.
You see?
No, I forced out.
You
okay.
sound very like like Spanish, like the español. So they go like they're always like emphasizing. They're like that's
You see, that's exactly what I did.
sound
'Cause you put me on the
yeah,
spot,
yeah.
so I'm like, I'm not gonna look stupid right now, you know? Okay, but like this is how I would normally say it, carro. You see?
Oh.
It's the D, like it's like it's saying like if
Oh,
I'm
so it's
saying
just like
expensive.
flat.
Oh, nice. I mean, if
No,
you wanna
no,
put it
like
that
your
way.
tongue just stays like flat.
Yeah, like I can't roll them. Like unless I try to force it, it
Yeah.
still comes out super sloppy. Like carro. You see, I'm trying to like make it come
Yeah.
out. But if I just say it like car, carro. You see,
Carro.
I missed that double R,
Oh.
which is
See, I'm like.
rubbing it in right.
That's crazy.
What about you? Is there anything you feel insecure about? Like I just told you mine. Like whenever I speak Spanish, rolling my R's.
I mean, I feel like I have a lot of insecurities. I guess like when I talk, like I told you, I don't like to hear my own voice.
Of course.
I feel like I have a really squeaky voice. I'm just like not into it.
I mean, I don't think anybody likes the way they sound.
I feel like some people have really cool voices though.
I mean,
you know?
1 in a million. Come on.
1 in a million.
I mean, a lot of people have really good voices.
Yeah.
But like
They don't know it.
Their inner selves they're just like, oh, even the person with the good voice, I'm sure they're like self-deprecating themselves. Like,
Yeah.
my voice sucks.
Yeah.
Unless they just want like.
Wait.
those
Let me ask you
compliments.
something.
ahead.
Wait. So you were born in Mexico. Does that mean like you were like Spanish was your first language too?
It was.
Okay. Do you think in Spanish or do you think in English?
Good question. I think
You say E.
that answers your question. No, but I think in Spanish.
Me too. It's crazy. Sometimes I get like stuck or like I feel like when I talk a lot, I'll like pause a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just because like I have to like translate. You know, have you ever thought about that?
Never.
It's crazy. Think about it. You're gonna be like, oh shoot, this whole time? Is this why I stutter?
No, but you see, I grew up at church,
Mm-hmm.
so it's so weird. Like I grew up in church, Spanish church.
Okay.
So like whenever this happens, it's just super random. But like my mind just starts singing those Christian songs in
Yeah.
Spanish, but they're just stuck in my head, and like
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I even?
It's
singing
just like
this?
second nature.
Yeah, and it's just there. Like, but everything comes out in Spanish. Even though I
Mm.
speak English mostly, I try to. Everything does come out in Spanish,
Hmm.
which I want to practice more Spanish because my Spanish is going away.
Oh really?
Sadly,
Do you
yeah.
not speak Spanish with your parents or anything?
I do, but like the proportion of me speaking with my parents in Spanish, it's so low compared
Uh-huh.
to like just speaking in English. I talk to my siblings in English.
Oh.
Just my parents I speak to them in
Uh-huh.
Spanish.
Interesting. You and your like siblings, did you guys ever talk to each other in Spanish?
I mean, I think sometimes here and there. I
Sometimes.
guess when we're trying to have a whole conversation with the whole family.
Oh, with the whole family?
Yeah,
Yeah, I get that.
We speak in Spanish, but besides that, we don't. Which
Mm.
sucks. Because now I'm like understanding the value of Spanish.
Yeah. Or
So-
being bilingual or
yeah.
just like in general?
Yeah,
Okay.
bilingual is a better word, yeah.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, Spanish is cool.
Do you speak any other languages?
I'm trying to learn ASL, but since I don't really have anyone to practice it with, it's really hard for it to stick.
I hear you. Okay,
Mhm.
do you know your ABCs?
Yeah.
Easy, right?
Easy.
A, B, C, D. Yeah, okay.
Okay, look at you.
Just start talking to you
Yeah.
instead.
You're like, all right, bet, let's go.
Okay, why ASL?
Because it's like a big thing in like the community that I work in too.
Really?
Yeah, like a lot of the clients or like the students I've had have been nonverbal, so we kind of try to teach them like ASL to like have a mode of communication, or like I've worked with deaf students too.
Okay.
And it's just like, obviously I want to communicate with them. So
So do you know enough to get around, or you're still learning? Like you're brand new to it?
it's crazy because I feel like when I see it, I'm like, okay, I know what they're talking about.
No way.
Yeah, like
Okay.
sometimes I'm just like, all right, slow down a little for me, and I'm like, okay, I know what that means. And then like I kind of just have to like try. Yeah, it's crazy. When I try to do it on my own, I'm like, oh, or like when someone's like, oh, how do you say this? I'm like, ugh. But then if I'm like trying to speak to someone like that uses ASL like as their mode of communication, I'm like, okay, like I think I got this.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so what other hidden talents do you have?
Hidden
then?
talent.
I
Shut
mean-
the fuck up. Other than rolling my R's and being able to move easily.
Do you know? Is there anything else you think? Because I know you have that hard time like with self-deprecation, and you don't like to acknowledge things.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You get
yeah.
that?
That's a
Well,
big thing.
What is? Oh, okay. Let's stick on that topic. What made that happen?
I was telling you that I like grew up reading like a bunch of books from like white male authors
Okay.
that are all like borderline alcoholics. So I feel like self-deprecation is just like their second nature, like their only personality trait. So I just like rubbed off on me. Like my favorite book is The Catcher in the Rye, and it's like this self-deprecating like little like rich white boy just like walking around New York like super sad because his brother died, and he's just like planning on killing himself. But it's a really good book. You're looking at me like, what? No, and then just like I feel like that's where I get most of it. I read a lot of like those like classic like literature books. It's just a bunch of like white boys complaining, you know, or just like I'm too cool but I'm not, you know. It's just like fucking American literature like to a T right there. Just
What attracted you to these books?
I like to read. I have read. Okay, it's really funny because it started off with like just like young adult novels because you know I was like young reading, and then like you know I told you like I grew up like in like a smallish city,
Okay.
like in the suburbs of LA.
A small city, of course.
Yeah, a small city. And so like our public library, like I went through all the young adult novels, and then I started like ordering some, you know, and then like I was like bored, and I was like, ooh, let me go to the other sections of the library, and I just started picking up other books, or just like, oh, like, you know, like classics, like there's like a section like classics, and it's like, all right, what's the hype, let's see, you know. And so I just started reading them, and like I feel like when I was younger I didn't really get them just because like those like problems that you have as an adult. I'm like, wait, what is he complaining about? You know, what's going on
Gotcha,
here?
okay.
Just eat some mac and cheese and go to bed, you know? Like, and then now that I'm older and like I reread
Makes
them, I'm
sense.
like, genius, you know? Like, yeah.
So how old were you when you started going to the library?
I was really young. I feel like my whole life I've just gone to like the library because it's just like, I don't know, a thing to do. I don't know.
Really? In LA?
Not in, well, I guess like I don't know. In growing up, I guess.
Did your parents take you, or you just walked?
No, my
there on
parents
your
would
own?
take me. You know, we had like our library cards, and whenever I don't know, I think I just like to read, like from like an young age. I think like what sparked it was like the whole like Spanish speaking thing. Just because I remember like when
What do you mean?
yeah, like when I started school, like I was in kindergarten and
Okay.
I did not know like English at all, and I had to like I think well it was kindergarten, so I don't think you can repeat kindergarten, but I think it was first grade that I had to repeat because like I still
Oh,
didn't
really?
like. I think I was like I was like had it down already, but they were just like, oh no, like it would benefit her for like her to like stay behind for the year, and then once like those like language skills are in, she'll like be better. And I feel like that kind of like fucked with me, and I was like, no, I am smart, I don't need to be like left behind like just because
Really?
I don't speak the language. And so like I think like my whole life has just been me trying to make up for that. And I'm just like, no, I'm gonna use all the big words, I'm gonna read all the books, I'm gonna make English my bitch, you know. And so yeah,
Wait, so y'all didn't have a.
y'all didn't. You look so shocked. You're like, damn, California different.
Wait, so y'all didn't have like a Okay, I was in the same boat, right? But
Yeah.
I didn't fail any grades.
I didn't fail. How dare you?
They didn't help me back. No, but like before that, they separated us.
Yeah.
They separated us. I forgot. I was gonna say ASL, but
ESL.
ESL, yeah.
English second language. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have that in your school.
We had it, but it's like they wouldn't separate us, but like once like a month they'd like take us and test us to see where we were at, kind of thing. I do remember that, but no, I didn't get separated. But at the same time, it's just like I was like really young, so I feel like had I come in at like a different time, maybe, because I learned the language quick, but I think it was just like my first grade teacher was like, I think she would benefit from this, and my mom being like all worried. I mean, I did and I didn't.
I mean, because you knew more than what the other kids had.
I mean, I feel like it was just first grade, so I was fine.
Gotcha.
Didn't really affect me.
I mean,
Yeah.
it did. I mean,
It's kind of messed up though, because when I think I was like in third grade, and then like it was recommended like that I skip grades, but then the school therapist like told my mom like, oh, like that's not the best idea because kids like can get like messed up just because they're not like at that maturity level. And my mom was like, yeah, let's not. And I was like, oh, but you easily let me be behind, but you didn't let me move forward. Like,
so
shady.
You had the opportunity to move forward.
To like move forward like 2 grades. Like
Look
I was in
at
3rd
you.
grade.
Okay.
I know. I told you I was gonna make English my best.
I'm telling you.
No, yeah.
Okay, and your mom said no.
Yeah, because she was like advised that it wasn't the best idea, and I'm like, who are you listening to, woman? Like,
Was it like one of her friends that told her?
no, it was like the school
Okay.
therapist was like, oh, like kids will come out like messed up, and it's funny because like when I was in high school, I had like an SAT like prep thing,
Okay.
and our tutor, he's like a super smart guy, and he like jumped
Okay.
like grades. I think he skipped like almost like all of high school just because he was that smart.
No way. Okay.
Yeah, and he was like a really funny dude, but also like very like self-deprecating at the same time. And I was just like, oh dang, what was that like? And he was like, it was fucked up. And I was just like, what? And he was like, yeah. He was like, you want to know how much I spend on therapy? And I was just like, what? And I was like, damn, that could have been me, you know, like that could have really messed me up. But like he was a funny dude, but like I always think about that. And he was like, no, yeah, it messed me up a lot.
Really?
Yeah, and he's like, and I'm a short dude. You know how many jokes I've had to deal with throughout my life? And I was just like, oh shoot. I was like, but you're really smart. And he's like, no, I should have just stayed where I was. And I was like, dang.
Okay, so is it more emotional?
I think so. I think it's just like, I don't know. Could you imagine like you as a middle schooler just like jumping to being like in senior classes? You'd be like, what's happening? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, you miss the whole
Yeah, you'd be like,
context
yeah.
of what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
And then you kind of just like don't go through that like high school experience either, you know, or like any of those like weird things. I don't know. I feel like I could see how that can mess someone up a little.
But it doesn't mess you up like if they hold you back though.
I think it does, right?
Did it?
I don't know,
yeah.
especially like I don't think I did because I was like too young and like didn't really know much.
Gotcha.
But I feel like I don't know if you were like in 7th grade and you got held back to 6th grade. Like you grew up with these like people in your class,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you just have to like be a part of a new class. Like I think that messed me up.
Yeah, lower grade, right? They
Yeah.
don't see you any.
And she's like, oh, what happened to Johnny? Oh, he got held back. Like I don't know. I'd be embarrassed too. I'd be like, oh shit.
True. Yeah.
You're just laughing.
No, I mean, I never thought about that, but yeah, now I see how it can mess you up.
Yeah. Are you just thinking about it?
Yeah, I was thinking about high school. I mean,
You're just like looking back. That's funny.
did you have a hard life growing up?
Not really. I don't think so.
No bullies. No, nothing.
No, please. You want me to just spill it all out right now?
Spill it out.
I remember this. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nah, I don't think so. And if I did, I probably just blocked it out of my brain like by now.
Yeah? Are you good at that?
I don't know. Why you keep looking at? Did you have bullies?
No.
You were the bully, huh?
I wasn't. I mean, we'll spill something out just so that way we could get comfortable. I do remember one part. It was I'm gonna start crying.
Oh no! I was like, no.
Just start like spilling your whole guts out of it. No. What? Yeah. Yeah. I do remember. There was a. It was back in. I don't even. I think it was like freshman year or something. Like, I was riding the bus. We would never ride the bus. Our parents always took us. But no, we're like, no, yeah, let's ride the bus. And this is so funny.
Oh no.
So yeah, gosh, why am I doing this? No.
Oh, it's okay.
Alright, suck it up, right? No, but I remember I was in the bus and stuff like that, and of course, like you're mixed up with like older grade levels and stuff like that, and then I was sitting there minding my own business, like dreading, like, why am I in the bus, right?
Yeah.
But it's something I wanted to do, so like you had to
Just do it.
just do it. So I remember. Sorry, I just spaced out.
Oh no, it's okay. I heard kids and I was like, are there kids around? Am I hearing stuff? Okay, so you're sucking it up.
I'm sucking it up. I'm in the thing, and then like, boys will be boys. They just start shit talking, and then like I remember one time like there's like he's all like you remind me of Squidward. Because of my nose. I'm like, ever since then, like every time I look at SpongeBob, I just get super sad. It takes me back to those days
Really?
where I would be in the bus, and like I just remember him
Was
saying,
it just that one time?
it was just that one time where that person said it like bluntly and more like with an intention to
where you just like, oh,
where,
damn.
Like, yeah, like you're not even expecting it. You're not cracking jokes back and forth. It's just like someone being an asshole and just like, oh yeah, like your nose is like Squidward's, right? And then like I've heard it like here and there, so it just brings back those memories. So I'm just like, I mean, but that was like one of the
No,
worst
I know what you
case
mean.
scenarios, so.
Yeah.
I mean, but do I forget it? Never. But
Oh yeah, no. Man, kids are brutal. Oof.
what's something someone has told you that's humbled you real quick?
Humbled me real quick. Oh damn. Ooh. I don't know. I'm a Scorpio. I don't know if I can be humbled.
Oh, is that so?
I'm just kidding. You're like, let me pull some out right now.
Let's see what we could do. Let's humble you real quick.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I feel like I have like, maybe like a lot of moments where I was like, or just like really embarrassed or something. But I can't think of anything like right now, like on the spot.
Do you get embarrassed quickly, or no? Like, does nothing faze you?
No, stuff fazed me. Like obviously, I'm not like made of stone or anything.
Is that so? You're not?
No. I can't think of anything. I'm not without like my faults though. I know that. I just can't think of anything right now.
You're gonna owe me for that.
I'm sorry. You didn't have to answer.
No, but yeah, I just.
You just won.
No, yeah, just. I'm not even one blank, but. These mosquitoes are rough, though.
I know. That's why, I covered up. I was gonna wear a dress, and I was like, nope.
No, yeah.
Not today. Wait. So I don't know if this is like too personal of a question or anything, but why don't you like drink or like do anything?
Why don't I drink?
Just because I know you don't like drink or do drugs or smoke or anything.
I don't. I mean, if we're being honest, like, I'm getting to that point where I'm becoming a little bit more curious.
Oh, so you've just never? Oh, smoking.
I've smoked before, like, I remember I went to like this little house party. Yeah, but this was back in high school. and like I was about. It's so weird because I was about to like take a hit of it, like it was a bong. I was gonna take a hit of it, but then like the cops came, so like I couldn't even do it. So like it just like that didn't happen. But I've been high one time and I was just paranoid. So I was like,
yeah.
It was just.
I can't handle being high. I get really paranoid too.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I feel like the world's just like ending. I get like really anxious. I can't do it. I can't hang.
No, but whenever it comes to drinking, I don't drink because I hate to be a bother to people. I like.
What, have you had like some bad drinking like instances or?
No, I have,
Oh,
but
okay.
just in general, like I hate to be a bother. Like for me to ask you to come do this podcast,
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, like I was kind of hesitant, but it just arose that I was able to bring it like
Naturally.
okay, you know what I mean? But I
yeah.
would never be like, oh, you know what, like
This is what you're gonna.
this is
like,
can we do this? You know what I mean?
So
like,
how does like drinking go into that? Like you just don't want anyone to like babysit you, or what do you mean?
Yeah, like I just don't want to be a bother. So let's say like I'm tipsy or something like that. I feel like I'm a bother if someone has to call an Uber for me. You know what I mean? Or like I've never been drunk, and I just don't want.
You've never been drunk? Ever?
No, ever. I just don't want to be. I just don't want to put that burden on someone else. You know what I mean? I just don't like bothering people. Like, so let's say I'm at someone's house, right? Whoever it is, and like I'm their code. I wouldn't ask for a blanket because I just don't want to bother you. Yeah. So like, let's say I'm very uncomfortable right now. But I'm not gonna tell you because I don't want to bother you.
Why are you
know
uncomfortable?
What I mean? No, I'm not. I'm not.
Oh, like say. Yeah. I was like, wait, do you want to go? Is it the mosquitoes? You can tell me.
No, but just in any situation, like I don't like to be a bother. But going back to that thing, like when I was younger, I had this friend and I snuck out of my house. And we went to her apartment, and there was like a little kickback that they had, and everybody was drinking. I had a couple sips, you know what I mean? But like I wasn't drinking to get drunk and stuff like that. Like they were smoking, so I was like a little bit buzzed because I was like a lightweight because I don't drink, and like I was like contact high because everybody was smoking in a room, so it was like hotboxing you whatsoever. But like her like best friend wanted to see his boyfriend, so like he kept nagging her like, can we go see, but she was drunk. And she got fed up. She's like, fine, let's go. She's all like, do you want to stay or do you want to come? I'm like, this is my house. I don't want to be here, so like I'll go with you. So we all get in the car, we go, we're on a red light, and then it's so ironic because the light turns green and we go, but another drunk driver comes and runs the red light and T-bones us.
Oh my gosh.
I smashed the head with my window. And like it's weird because like there was a cop like just leaving, because I remember like he was pulling into his cop car. And as soon as the accident happened, he just pulled out and like he came to us, and my friend got arrested for DWI. And I was scared shitless. And I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't know what to do. Like my parents didn't know, like Mexican family, like my dad's a pastor, you know, like I'm like,
really?
Like I don't want to call my dad
it's all
whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna bother him. I'm like running through my head like, who can I call? Like what can I do? Like like can I start walking right now? Like at like 5 a.m. to get to my house? Like how am I gonna do it?
You.
So like I was like just super paranoid and
Oof.
ended up calling my brother and stuff like that. And this was the night right before Mother's Day when I snuck out, and my brother picked me up on Mother's Day, Sunday early morning. And it was a big
oof.
He didn't say anything, but it could have been
that's
a
like the worst thing though. I feel like when Mexican parents just like don't say anything or give you the silent treatment, you're just like, come on, at least yell at me.
No, you see, my brother never snitched.
Oh, okay.
So like my parents never found out.
Really? Dang, you got lucky. I feel like my sisters are the biggest snitches.
Yeah.
But like not even without like without trying to, they'd just be like, oh, did you hear this happen? He's like, what are you being a chismosa for? That's our mother. What are you doing?
She shouldn't know
You
that
can't
much.
gossip with your own mother. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but no, like I don't like to be a bother, so like I've like gone to like several events like 2 where like I was kind of tipsy, like kind of buzzed,
Yeah.
and they're like, no, like stay here, like let me call you an Uber. I'm like, no, like I gotta get home. So because I don't want to be a bother, I don't need you to babysit me. I don't want to put that extra pressure. So I would just get in my car and drive. You know
That's
what I mean?
so interesting.
So I'm like, no, like I've come to realize that I'm not mature enough, but I'm not responsible enough to say, you know what, like let someone else like take the wheel and like take care of me. So I'm like, I'm not gonna drink
just
whatsoever.
put yourself in that position in the first place. That's pretty smart. That's pretty good that you can like be that self-aware.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not worth it. I'm like, it isn't like I gotta go drink. So it isn't like something that. So let's say someone told me like, let's go on a road trip to New York and like let's do it, and I was to get in a car accident and I was to die. It was worth it, you know, because I was gonna go do something that I wanted to do. Yeah. Compared to like, oh, like I got drunk and I caused an accident, I killed myself or I killed someone else. It's just not. And then like once I was sober, I was like, this was definitely not worth me even doing anything like that. Why would I even do it? So that's the reason why I don't drink. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't want to be a bother. And
no, I get you. No, it definitely makes sense. I was just curious. I was like, I wonder what the story is here.
Yeah, no, but